Good evening, everyone. My name is Vernisha Jones, and I am the president of the West Garfield Park Youth Council, which is sponsored by Fathers Who Care, and we believe that we are the solution to the violence in our community. Fathers Who Care is a nonprofit organization located on the west side of Chicago within the West Garfield Park community. Again, everyone, I am Vernisha Jones, the West Garfield Park president. The West Garfield Park Youth Council is comprised of 30 youth, which has increasingly grown since last season. From our communities whose focus and concern is the youth leadership and violence within the community and addressing the issues of violence prevention. We invite people from all over, especially youth, to come in and see what we're all about. Our show will be scheduled every Thursday at 7 p.m. Again, that is every Thursday at 7 p.m. We would like to encourage calls from people watching to call in at 312-738-1060. Again, that number is 312-738-1060. Our show can also be viewed online at www.cantv.org/live. Again, that is www.cantv.org/live. Well, everyone, I know you noticed this young man sitting on the side of me. Instead of me taking the time to introduce him, I will allow him to introduce himself.
I'm Angelo. I'm 18 years old, and I'm a part of the West Garfield Youth Council.
Thank you for being a guest on tonight's show.
No problem.
Okay. Again, I'm Vernisha Jones. I'm the president of the West Garfield Park Youth Council. I'm 20 years old, and I attend Malcolm X College. And you are now watching a live interactive call-in television program brought to you by CanTV 21. During the next 25 minutes, we're going to discuss the topic of how do young people deal with violence on the west side of Chicago. And we invite people from all over to call in with your questions and comments at 312-738-1060. Again, the number is 312-738-1060. Our phone lines are now open. So, do you remember the topic for today?
I know the topic was how do we deal with violence in our communities today.
So how do you deal with violence in your community?
Me personally, I'm very social, but at the same time, I like to be to myself. I like to isolate myself from everyone else. Sometimes I play video games to cope. If I don't have anything to do for the day, I just stay in the house, play the game. I don't go outside. I don't go outside to run the streets like everybody else usually does.
Well, me, I'm still a young person. How do I deal with violence in our community? I try to be an outspoken person, so I try to be the one that tells people that's not the right route to go. I try to be the person that tells people, like, my daddy got a program where young people could come and work. Young people could come and get involved with different people that's around their age or different people that's going through basically what they're going through. I feel like something that's a reason why it's a lot of violence in the community is because of a lack of communication with adults, a lack of communication with people that you feel like have your back and people you feel like you can talk to. So I feel like programs like the West Garfield Park Youth Council and different programs that's out here in Chicago are big outlets for the decreasing of violence. Mm-hmm. So that's my personal opinion on it. So we're just going to hop into the show and get it started. So can you talk to the audience and tell them who are you and what's your purpose for existing?
Well, like I said, I'm Angelo. I'm 18, and my purpose is I love math. Like, I'm a very good math student.
Oh.
So I plan to go to college this fall to be a mathematical engineer and probably specialize in something in that category.
Is there anything else you want to tell them?
No, that's about it.
Well, my name is Vernisha. I'm a sophomore at Malcolm X. I feel like my purpose for existing is helping people. Before, I never thought it would be that, but then after being around young people and seeing that I have a big impact on young people, and a lot of young people look up to me and like look up to the different stuff I do, it's like something that was like a God's given gift to me. That people, so it's like that's something that I feel like my purpose for existing is to help the next young person that's coming up and feel like they ain't got no outlet or they feel like they don't have nobody that listens to them.
Like a guardian angel?
Yeah, a guardian angel. That's the perfect word for it, a guardian angel. So why do you feel like our community is so violent? Like, why do you feel it's so much stuff going on? Why do you feel people are doing the stuff they're doing? Like, what's your input on that?
I feel like the community is split up for a lot of reasons. One, we don't have enough mentors, enough role models to show these people where to go, the right guidance, the right things to do. No one to give them advice. Second, I would like to say there's not enough jobs in the community for people to could look up to. So people, they want money. They want money. They want something to do. And with a lack of jobs, what else is there to do but drug deal, gang bang with your friends on the block and some stuff like that. So that links to alcohol abuse, substance abuse, and that's why the communities are the way they are right now.
Okay, so if I'm not mistaken, you said the reason why communities are violent is because of what you said.
Role models and
You
lack
said
of jobs.
yeah, lack of jobs and role models. So basically, that I feel like that's a perfect answer because, like I said, if you don't have somebody that you feel like you can relate to, it's just like
Right. So
it's like you feel like you don't got love, so you go looking for love in the wrong places.
all the wrong
So
places.
that's how I personally feel. Like it's like if you feel like you don't have love, you feel like that gang gonna treat you better than what you getting treated. So that's what they go look for. A lack of jobs, I feel like that's a perfect reason because a lot of people feel like that's why a lot of people are out selling drugs.
Right.
They can't get a job, so they go to the next outlet to get money. And I feel like a lack of education. I feel like that's a big one, a lack of education. People not going to school. People are dropping out. Parents not being on kids how they supposed to. Kids are dropping out at the ages that you should not be out of school, like, honestly. And I see we have a caller. We're going to take this caller, and then we're going to get right back in this conversation. I'm liking this conversation. Caller?
Hey, hello, this is Quan,
Hello.
and I'm here to ask a question.
Okay.
What can young people do to curb violence in our community?
You want me to answer it first, or you want to go?
I got it.
Okay. Ooh, okay.
Well, my opinion, I'm gonna piggyback on what I said about lack of jobs and lack of mentors. We can young people can they can go to their high school, start sports, go to the high school, start up clubs, extracurricular activities, participate in those, volunteer in all of those things. Because obviously gang banging and drug dealing is not the answer, to be honest, because that's only gonna lead you to one place, either the grave or to jail. So sports can take you somewhere else, extracurricular activities can take you somewhere else. You probably find something that you want to do that you never thought that you knew that
you
liked
could
it.
do. Yeah, that's a big one. And the question is, how can we curb violence? I feel like we can curb violence is by doing stuff that you thought you would never do, honestly. Like you said, getting into things that you thought you couldn't do. Getting into a program is just trying it out to see if it's something that you can do. And you never know. Stuff that you feel like is lame and you feel like you can't do, you can be the best at.
Right.
So I feel like getting a part of programs, finding people that you feel like you can relate to, and going out and being in the community, finding different role models and mentors and stuff like that. So I feel like that's a perfect answer for that question. So where do you think, what impact do you think we can make to make our community safe?
Safe. It's right there. Right, there was this one thing I feel like people disagreed with him on. President Trump about sending the National Guard to the neighborhood. They think that's doing too much, or he's tripping out about it. I feel like with the police around, I feel like more people are less reluctant to do crimes, sell drugs in the corner because the police are right down the street. They can easily get caught. That's more of a risk for them to go to jail.
True.
So with that going on, police, although I don't agree with everything the police has to do, I agree with them stopping the violence, stopping crimes from happening because they're right there, right down the street.
Yeah, so you basically saying when you be seeing like the big old trucks sitting in the lots
Right.
and stuff, you feel like that's curing the violence in our community?
Yeah, because don't you know when you walk past a police car, don't you get like a little nervous?
Nervous,
Even
yeah.
though you haven't done anything wrong.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Where does violence come from? Like, where do you think it come from?
That's I don't know.
You want to take this caller and you think about that answer?
Yeah, that's a question.
So we can take this caller. Hello, caller.
I have a question.
Okay, your question?
Do you think violence will ever decrease?
Do you think what?
Do you think violence will ever decrease?
The question is, do you think violence will ever decrease? Thank you for your question.
I feel like in the future it might, but like right now, it'll take a big revolution for that to happen. And a revolution takes time. For it to go into effect. Maybe right now we'll all come together, but it'll take years and years for us to for that violence to decrease.
I feel like yes, violence can decrease, and maybe it will. I feel like it only will when people feel like it's okay to be a leader instead of a follower.
Right.
I feel like that's when I feel like violence will actually start decreasing when people take the role of being a leader and not having to sell drugs or retaliate and all that type of stuff, then yes, violence will decrease.
Oh, I had a conversation with someone before I came here about that. Being a leader, he told me I was a nerd, but at first I took it to offensive because usually the media puts out being a nerd is something that you don't want to be, something that's not often wanted. If someone calls you a nerd, you'll take it to offense. And why would you say that? If you think about it, the nerd, yeah, go ahead and call me a nerd, but I'll be laughing to the bank, laughing to my career, laughing to my college and everything else. Now, once you're done laughing at me, there's nothing wrong with being a nerd. A nerd is someone who's just book smart. Wrap it up.
Okay, so basically you saying it's okay to be a nerd.
It's okay to be a nerd. It's okay to be a geek.
Okay, so that's good to say. I see we have another caller. We have another caller. Caller. Hello, caller.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, my name is James. Okay, y'all talking about the violence, right?
Yes.
Now, I think the media is probably the problem. Now, in other countries, they have violence. Do they have role models in other countries like they have in the black community? Okay, what I'm trying to say, now, y'all talking about the violence on the south side and west side, right?
Yes.
Now, y'all don't have the role models. They don't have. In other countries, they have violence, the same thing. They have role models in other countries when they do a war and fight each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the media is probably the problem.
I feel like that's a big problem, yes.
Again, what they should do, instead of having violence, they should get their time. They should get on their knees and pray to God.
True.
Yeah, that's my comment. Because I think the media is probably the problem. Every time when somebody get in front of the media, they talk they're going to stop all the violence. And then what do you hear the next day or a week? More violence, more killing. And the police ain't doing no good. And politicians ain't doing no good. They in there for that money, like Donald Trump is.
Yes, that's honestly the truth. Okay. Okay, well, I see you guys. See, we have another guest on the show. It's a girl, so we're basically going to get an output. It's basically today is getting the output on both sides, from the female version and from the guy version. So can you just introduce yourself to them and tell them what's your purpose for existing?
I am Amari Townsend. I live on the west side of Chicago, and I go to school, I go to church, and I'm a part of a female mentoring group.
What's the name of that female mentoring group?
Step Up.
What do you guys do? What type of
Oh,
group
we talk about what females go through and how do we get through it, and then we talk about how do we cope with, like, body image and stuff like that.
Okay. So how do you deal with violence in your community?
Me, I try to stay home. I don't really try to go outside. I ignore ignorance. Mm-hmm. And I try to join other groups.
So do you know of any groups on the west side of Chicago besides the group you're in?
Oh, yes, the West Garfield Park Youth Council.
Speaking of the West Garfield Park Youth Council, we meet every Monday at 4:30 to 6:30 at 4540 West Washington. Again, the address is 4540 West Washington. We meet from 4:30 to 6:30. You can contact us at 773-287-5821. Again, that is 773-287-5821. And we meet every Monday at 4:30 to 6:30. So back to the conversation. What impact do you think we can make to make our community safer as young people?
I think we can go out and talk to people because, communication is key.
So outreach.
Yes. Go out and tell them there are better things out there and you can do so much better than what you're doing out here. There's nothing really out in the streets.
And I see we have a caller. We could take this next caller. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Question or comment?
What are different types of violence?
Oh, there is domestic violence, there's child abuse, there is gang violence. I think that's about it.
Okay. So speaking of when you said outreach, what is some different stuff that you do with the West Garfield Park Youth Council?
We we go out and we see people on the street who don't seem to be doing anything productive. We try to get them into
Involved.
try to get them involved.
Get them involved and get them
Talk to
into
them.
and try to bring them out into the youth council to talk about different things that's going on in the neighborhood, solutions on how to curb the violence in the neighborhood, outlets, and to meet different people and stuff like that. Okay, and I see we have another caller. Hello, caller.
Hello?
Yes. Question or comment?
Yes, no, I have a question. I have a question to the young lady that's on the air. Let me move away from my TV.
Okay.
And my question is, I hear you say that you work really hard to try to stay away from the different, bad vibes and whatnot that's going on out in the world, and by you being a young person, how do you do that? What do you do to encourage other young people like yourself to want to do something different and make a difference in the community besides just hanging out, slugging, and doing what a lot of the other younger generation are doing?
Well, I try to tell them that there are other things you can be doing. Like, I try to talk to them about, school and trying to make something of themselves other than just sitting around doing nothing.
That's all you want to say?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. With me, with young people, with people around my age, I try to tell them, like I said, every time I got friends, I always tell them about my father's program. So I be like, I have a program you guys can come to that, it's other youth our age that we can talk to and different stuff like that. Or anything. You can say anything to try to get young person off the street. Let's go to the movies. Let's go out to eat. Anything to try to get a person out the neighborhood so they don't be doing what an average young person, what they think an average young person is doing. So I feel like that's good what you're saying. Why do you think our communities are so violent?
Because people have no role models. Some have stable homes and they try to look for ways out.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't have any values. They're not inspired by anything. They don't have any goals. I feel like they don't have goals. Because when you make a goal, you try to work towards your goal. But if you don't work towards it, then it's just a dream.
Can I see we have another caller? Hello, caller.
Hello, my name is Shania. I have a question for Amari.
Okay.
My question is, have you ever experienced violence in your life, and if so, how did you deal with it?
Have you ever experienced violence? How did you deal with it?
I've witnessed some violence, and how I dealt with it was I couldn't just hold it in because stuff like that you have to talk about. So I talked about it with my mom and my grandma, which are my role models, and they told me that if you see something happening, don't just sit around and say nothing. Speak up.
Okay, that's good. So basically, when I just asked you the question before that, and you said role models, what do you look for in a role model? Because I know with a lot of kids, it's like, a role model has got to be somebody to look up. It's certain aspects you look into a person for them to be your role model. What do you look for in a person to be your role model? Like, what do a person have to have?
They need to be not judgmental. Because
That's
you
a
don't
big
want to
thing.
talk to someone and then they're sitting there judging you.
True.
You need to get a role model. Well, I picked my role model, which is my grandmother, because she dropped out of school, but then she went back because she knew what she wanted to be. She wanted to be a nurse, and she wanted to complete that because she was having a daughter, and she wanted her daughter to have somebody to be like, hey, my mom can do it, so can I. And I look at my mom and my grandma because they were both nurses. And now I know that I can do it because they've done it.
That's the perfect answer. We would like to encourage calls from people watching to call in at 312-738-1060. Again, that is 312-738-1060. If you are now just tuning in, tonight our guest on the show is Amari, and we're discussing the topic of how do we curb violence in our community and how do we deal with it as young people and different stuff we can do as outlets to deal with the violence in our community. So back to our conversation. Where do you feel violence come from?
I think it comes from conflicts and misunderstandings is the main reason, and social media because.
Okay, so we're going to break this down.
All right.
So, okay, so you said conflicts.
Yes.
So I understand conflicts. When you say conflicts, you're saying like if a person getting into it over any type of issue.
Yes.
And I feel like social media is one of the biggest things.
Yeah.
Where violence is coming from, like all types of stuff. Just for example, they just made it where I don't know if like more mature people will understand it, but they just made it where you can react to the comments.
Mm-hmm.
So do you feel like that's a result of how violence can get started?
Yes, because it depends on the person's mindset, actually. Because if I make a comment and someone ha-has it, because that's one of the reactions, you can laugh at it, and then I'll think, oh, that person's laughing at me. Yeah. They're laughing at me. And then, you'll come back at them.
And I feel
like
that's
what's the joke? And then they'll say...
I honestly feel, and I feel like you said conflict, you said social media, and what else? You don't remember?
No.
Well, you said conflict and social media, and I feel like social media is one of the biggest things.
Misunderstanding.
And misunderstanding,
yes.
So not understanding where a person coming from. And you taking it the wrong way when they not trying to throw it out the right way.
Yeah.
So I see we have another caller. We could take this next caller. Hello, caller, question or comment?
Hi, I just first off wanted to commend you guys. You guys are doing awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome job on the show. And I also had a question. I heard you mention something about the West Garfield Park Youth Council.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to know, like, how do anyone come and get involved in a program?
Well, you could come and get involved in the West Garfield Park Youth Council by coming actually to one of our meetings. We're open to anyone coming between the ages of 14 to 21. You can come out. We meet every Monday at 4:30 to 6:30. Our telephone number is 773-287-5821. Again, our telephone number is 773-287-5821. We are located at 4540 West Washington. 4540 West Washington is the address. And so we could talk a little bit about the West Garfield Park Youth Council. The West Garfield Park Youth Council is a group of young people. We've been around for some time now. We're a group of young people that does a lot of stuff. We travel. We go seeing all types of people like senators, representatives, congressmen. We be in a lot of parades. We outreach to the different people in the community. We talk to young people. We don't actually been to Springfield. We don't sit in on people making choices for us, like actually making choices about decisions that actually affect young people in general, and we don't have inputs on them type of decisions. The West Garfield Park Youth Council is just like a big, like we done a lot. We done did a lot, like a real lot. And I feel like it's a big exposure for young people that don't know, like people that don't know stuff like that. So with you being just coming around to the West Garfield Park Youth Council, what type of exposure do you feel like you done had so far?
I feel like I have been exposed to not just sitting around and doing nothing. Reverend Jones, he makes sure we have everything we need and we learn different things. Like I've learned that it's okay to be outspoken.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay to help others. We are a team and we leave no one behind.
True. I like what you're saying. Well, I'm glad everyone watched the show today. And basically, do you have any last minute, anything you want to say to the guests? Any comments you want to say to a young person watching us? Anybody around your age that you feel like going in the wrong route or not doing what they're supposed to be doing? And anything you want to tell them? And remind everybody of who you are?
I'm Amari. But one thing I would like to say to any young person is that watch who you hang around with, because not every crowd is the right crowd.
That was the best answer. I liked that, watch who you hang around with. What you mean when you say that?
I mean that the people you hang around with may not be moving in the same way you want to. They may be heading towards a different route.
But why do you say just watch you hang? What about helping them?
Not everybody wants help. You can only help people who want it.
Okay. And I'm Vernisha Jones, and I am the president of the West Garfield Park Youth Council. And something I want to say, something that I always say, it's just one quote my mama said to me the day I graduated out of high school, and I just stuck with it. The sky's the limit. Everybody has their own meaning to it, and like it's just something, a quote I like. So that's my only quote I want to say, and something I want to say to the young people. The sky is the limit. Well, thank everyone for watching the show tonight, and I would like to thank Angelo for being on the show tonight, and thank Amari for being on the show tonight, and thank you guys, and have a good night.